कहो एक बार हे मित्रों, सनातन धर्म की जय हो। कहो एक बार हे मित्रों, वैदिक धर्म की जय हो। सनातन धर्म विश्वानि देव सवितर् दुरितानि परासुवा यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुवा यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुवा। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Tone down the mics a little bit, son. It's a little too loud. Deviyo or Bhadrajano, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers all over this world, all of you on the internet, we thank you for logging in. All of you present here, we don't have a very large family here today, but wherever you may be listening to this discourse from the platform of Vedic Satya Sanatan Dharma, today we encourage your attention to a topic: how do we approach a teacher? And I will begin with what we know. When you teach in a classroom, you always start with what you know, and then you travel in the direction of what is not known, what is unknown. And you and I know mathematics teachers, and we know French teachers, and we know teachers of other school subjects. And I myself am a teacher, and there are many other people who are teachers here or were teachers. And many of us are graduated students, and we know that there needs to be a very positive relationship between a student and a teacher so that knowledge can leave a source and can reach a target. Knowledge can emanate from a source, and the source is the teacher, and it can reach the target. And the target is the mind of the student. And if there is an adversarial relationship, if there is a problematic relationship, if there is an offense, a sense of offensiveness between teacher and student, there is... Pull it in for me, please. Pull it inside. Sai, bram it for me. Right, thanks. If there is an offensive sense, a sense of offensiveness pervading the atmosphere, then knowledge will never genuinely leave the source, and it will never genuinely impression the mind of the student. That happens in classrooms. You ask those teachers who, and in quotes, don't like certain disruptive students, and you watch the grades of those students. By and large, those students are not high achievers. But you watch those students who may not know, I teach French, who may not know all the French in the world, but they come to class on time. They sit down, they open their writing books, they open their textbooks, and they're ready to watch what we call a do now on the board, which is an exercise that seeks to get you started. It's a short exercise. It's rather relatively simple exercise. And they sit down, they begin first with their names. And many students who don't begin, I say, well, at least begin with your name. That gets you started. Watch those students who do not have to be told, but they begin with the name and the date, and they've put French 2 or French 4, and they have the aim, and they're ready to do the do now. They may not be so-called smart, but they are the ones who are high achievers when it comes to getting a grade at the end of the marking period. In other words, there must be a certain kind of willingness, an inclination for, a willingness to listen. And we have a whole methodology where you listen to the information and you process the information and you realize the truth of the information, and then you pass the information on to someone else. In other words, you teach that information. Our great sacred writing says such a person becomes a scholar after a whole process, watch me, of listening, of churning, of focusing on and churning that information, of arriving at certain conclusions, and then it doesn't stop there, of passing it on to someone else. Then you become truly reflective of the truth of that piece of information. Brothers and sisters, it's no different when you choose a spiritual teacher. It is no different when you go to somebody and say, I have turbulence in my mind. I don't know where I came from. I don't know where I'm going. And I don't know what I need to do before I get there, or to facilitate me getting to my destination. I don't know what to do. I read Atma Geet, I read Hawan book, I read Bhajan book. I come to Mandir, but I don't know what to do. And the least pretext I have, I get so angry, I pick up bowls and plates and telephones and I throw it at the person I love most, and then I have to sit down in regret and remorse, and I become saddened at what I said, or saddened at what I did, or saddened at even what I thought. Such a person is ripe to go look for a teacher who can open up the important secrets contained in the Shastras, in sacred writings. Let me hear that harmonium, Beti. So Rishi Dayananda Saraswati in the Satish Prakash is laying bare to you what you and I need to do in terms of inculcating a certain kind of approach in our mind. You see, it all starts in the mind, and whatever is in the mind and the intellect dictates what kind of approach you have on the outside. What must I do in seeking to connect with a source of genuine information that will lead me to some proper, valued destination? Let's go. Amrita, help me, Beti. All the children, help me. All of you in the audience, help me. Tate jo narajana pipasum shuddha satya ka jo jigyasu. Tate jo narajana pipasum shuddha satya ka jo jigyasu. ब्रह्मनिष्ठ गुरु के धिक जावे, ब्रह्मनिष्ठ गुरु के धिक जावे, हाथ जोड़ कर शीस नवावे, शीस नवावे स्वामी शीस नवावे, हाथ जोड़ कर शीस नवावे. Tate means, oh you beloved. Look how Rishi Dayananda starts off. Tate. He uses a word to make you feel loved. And I have the same problem there. If there's an offensive, disruptive student, I have to let that student know as the adult that I desire his welfare. I can't call him a fool. I can't call him a low class. I'm entertaining more offensiveness in his heart. I have to call him, if it's a female student, there's a certain word of appellation that I will use. If it's a male student, there's another word. And the first thing I must be able to cause that student's ears to raise up and say, but this one needs, this one desires good for me. This one means well. I don't like the other one, but let me hear what this one has to say. And it is from there that the mediation procedure begins. And Rishi Dayananda is no different from a master super teacher.